fishy folks, and welcome back to Michael's Fish Room. Today's video, when do I change the filter in my hang-on back filter? Filter and filter, you know what I mean. Anywho, why don't you guys go ahead, grab a snack and a beverage, and stand by. Alright fishy folks, we're back. Before we get started with today's video, if you could just do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button and then gently boop the notification bell as well, in case I decide to go live one of these days, which I might, but you never know. Anyway, today's topic, when do I change the filter in my hang-on back filter? And this question was prompted by a subscriber. He didn't actually come out and say that, but he did. He is a new subscriber, a new fish keeper, and he had some questions about hang-on backs, and I tried to answer them as best I can. I've used plenty of hang-on backs in the past. They're pretty simple as far as I'm concerned, so hopefully I answered your questions. Anyway, the question that I want to answer is, when do you change the filter? I see a lot on Facebook groups, when do I change water? How much water do I change? I've done a video about that. I'll put that link up here. But it's kind of the same thing. When is it time to change your filter? Well, I'm going to tell you when the flow stops slowing down. And then you might say, well, when is that, Mike? And I'm going to say, let me check my crystal ball. It all depends. It depends on what food you're feeding, how much you're feeding, what kind of fish you have, how you clean your tank. Is it bare bottom? Is there sand? Is there substrate? All those things. Do you have plants? All those things matter as to when you need to change your filter. But the simple answer is, when you see the flow slow down. Now I'm going to show you an example of severe flow slowdown soon, right here in Michael's Fish Room, but let's just talk about filters and filter cartridges themselves. So I have to have a package here for the Emperor Pro 450 filters. This came with that filter. I love the Emperor Pro 450. I know one in my house caught fire, but I was very satisfied with what Marineland said, and I completely stand by all their products, at least that I've used. So yes, it caught fire. Yes, they investigated. Yes, I'm happy with it, and I have one running in my house to prove it. Anyway, these are the right size E filter, Emperor power filter cartridges. I think they've used these for, I don't know, 100 years or so, but it says right in the package, for best results, change every 2 to 4 weeks. Well, why? That's a good question. Let's investigate. So here's what the filter looks like. Now, personally, I would use these new out of the package. When it came time to replace them, I would cut this blue filter material off, throw away the carbon because I don't like carbon, and then I would just take some pinky filter floss or any one of the filter pad materials that you can buy, whether it's pink or blue or what have you, and then wire tie a new one onto this frame, and I'd be done with it. And then I never replace it, I just clean it. You can actually clean these a few times. If you took it out every 2 or 3 weeks and cleaned it, eventually this stuff would deteriorate and the carbon would need to be replaced. That's why you would do what I did. So, other filters like the Aquaclear uses these sponges, which never should be replaced as far as I'm concerned. I've owned Aquaclears running continuously for like 5 or 6 years, never replaced a sponge. Basically, you take the sponge out, put it in pre-treated water or old tank water, squeeze it out a couple times, and you're done. You put it back and it's clean. That's it. Now, the filter that's in my fish room is an Aquaclear that has 3 sponges in it. And the sponges are really for mechanical filtration, but they do offer some biological as well. Not as much as the biological media that comes with those little white cylinder thingies. But also beneficial bacteria will stick to here, which is why when you clean filter material, you use old tank water because it's been treated so it doesn't have chlorine or chloramines, or you use pre-treated clean water. I'm not that much of a nitpicker, so I use old tank water and then I just wash my hands. But, you just squeeze it out until the water comes pretty clean. Boom, put it back, you're done. So, like I said, the filter companies will have you replace these filters every 2 to 4 weeks. You don't need to. What you need to do is, when the flow slows down, clean your filter. The Emperor Pro also comes with these baskets, which this is actually what I use upstairs. Obviously I took it apart. I cut some pinky filter floss that's the shape of this. I put it back and boom. And then I don't know, once every 2 weeks I take one out, I take it over to the sink, I take it apart, I clean this, I clean the filter, the pinky filter floss, and then I put it back. And you might be saying to yourself, but Mike, you just said use treated water, old tank water. And that's right, I did, but this filter that's upstairs is only used for mechanical filtration because I have sponge filter in there for biological. So it's only mechanical. I mean, there is some biological because it has the wheels. I don't even know if it's seeded yet. I have that running for maybe a month and a half, 2 months. So yeah, maybe it is seeded, but because I only use this for mechanical filtration, I don't really care that much about the biological that might be in the filter here. All right, here's what we're gonna do, folks. You guys are gonna refill your snack and your beverage. I'm gonna take you over to the Aquaclear filter that you have to see. This is when you need to change the filter, this Aquaclear. So stand by, I'll be right back. All right, fishy folks, we're back at my Aquaclear filter that is on my calico bristlenose breeding tank, which I should have a hang-on back filter on all my bristlenose tanks. I don't. I typically move them to the ones that really need it, which is really this one and the Super Reds. Anyway, you can see the filter, the sponges are up above, and the water level is, I mean, it's literally over the top. And what prompted this video, besides that question I got, was I came down to the fish room this morning and there was water on the floor. And this tank was half empty. So what happens is the water, in this particular filter, and most hang-on back filters, the water flows up the pipe into this chamber and then flows down into the bottom of the filter chamber, flows through the filters and then overflow into the tank. This is so backed up that if I were to push this down, that's when it would leak. In fact, let me show you. If I push this all the way down, it's barely getting by. In fact, it's overflowing onto the filter. Let me show you. See, it's like this. See? And you might be saying, Mike, you spilled all that water on the floor. Yeah, it's a concrete floor. We're in the basement on a slab. I'm not concerned about it. It'll dry. I have a dehumidifier. I spill water on the floor sometimes. That happens. So in this particular Aquaclear, this is a 50, Aquaclear 50, good for a 50-gallon tank. I have it on a heavily overstocked 20-gallon with plecos. Anyway, this has 3 of these sponges in it, and that's it. So the water goes through 3 separate sponges and comes out and hopefully is clean. Now this particular filter probably was running on this tank for a week and it needs to be changed. It needs to be cleaned. And so the question, when do I need to change the filter in my hang-on back filter, really depends on what's in the tank and how much you feed. As I said, I overfeed. It's heavily overstocked. There's probably 50 plecos of different sizes. There's 2 adult males and 2 adult females in there as well, plus an assortment of juveniles and young adults and fry at this point. And like I said, I overfeed and it's heavily overstocked, so that's why these filters would have to be cleaned once a week is what I'm saying. So if this filter was in your house, in your kitchen, in your family room, and it overflowed, and that's how you knew to change your filter, that would be bad, right? So another good way to know to change your filter, besides just an arbitrary schedule that you think makes sense, is when does the flow slow down? So let me move the camera over to the other side, and we'll take a look at the flow. All right, fishy folks, you're looking at the front of the filter, and you can see how slow the flow is, how it's barely coming out. It's actually, most of the water is actually not even going through the sponges. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna clean the sponges. I'll film that for you as well, and then we'll check the flow when we're done. So stand by. All right, fishy folks, here's how I clean my hang-on back filters in my fish room. Now, I take a 5-gallon bucket. It's about 40% filled, maybe halfway filled with treated tank water. All the water that comes out of my hose here goes through my carbon block filters that I did a video on Sunday. I'll put a link for that here as well. for my auto water change system. So it's dechlorinated already. So first thing I have here is, actually I have the hang-on valve filter off the tank. I take the lift tube out, I rinse it. I'm just rinsing it in water. You don't really need to see, it's not that big a deal. Then I take the filters, and in this particular case it has a nice basket to hold it, and I squeeze it. Now you might be saying, Shelf, Mike, that is gross. That's legitimate fish poop right there. You are 100% right. It is gross and it is fish poop. It's not foam, it's fish poop. Then I put in the water. Then I squeeze them out. Let's just take a look at one first. So here's one that's dirty. And then I'm gonna squeeze it. Squeezing, that's the squeezing noise. I don't know if you can hear it. And there's the clean one. And then we just put it aside. And we do that with all 3 filters. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna finish doing that. I was gonna go to fast motion, but I'm gonna be done soon, so that would be kind of silly. Let's just talk amongst ourselves. Hope everyone is doing well during this troubled time. If you're in the United States, is your state on lockdown yet? And please listen. Let's frickin' flatten this curve out so we can go back to doing our normal stuff. I mean, I'm all for social distancing. I don't really like people. I know it's hard for you to believe, but I don't really like people. Anyway, that's enough about me. I'm trying to balance these. They're not balancing. 2 balanced, 3 not so much. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be smarter than a sponge. We're gonna put 2 on one tank, 1 on the other. All right. Now we have the basket. We wanna make sure the basket's clean. Now, all the water in here is dirty water. We don't need to save it. Just gonna pour it out. Now what you wanna do is get some nice soap and water and clean this out. I'm just kidding. You never clean the filter unless you're putting it away for good. If it's going on a tank, do not clean it. This is fine. Don't wipe it down. You can wipe the outside down. Don't take a clean cloth and wipe the inside because you don't know what's on it. That could kill any bacteria and also harm your fish. Just leave it like this. All right. We got our fancy filter basket. I love this thing. Aquaclear's rock. It's just wet. It's not dirt. They do smell. That is a thing. All right. Now they're good to go. Put them back in the filter basket like this. Put our lift tube on like this. I may or may not have spilled water all over me before I started filming, so yeah. All right, time to reset the camera up so I can show you how to put this on and how to start an Aquaclear when it's dry. That's a trick. Stand by. All right, fishy folks, welcome back. This is how I start my Aquaclear filter. I use a deli cup. You know I love the deli cups. I buy them on Amazon. I use them for food in my house, for leftovers. I use them to take lunches to work. I use them in the fish room. I love them. So what you do is you take a deli cup and you fill up your filter. It's just a good thing to have. I store food in it. Like if I buy a big Jagunda container of food and my fat meat hook doesn't fit in the can, I put the food in a deli cup because my big Jagunda meat hook fits in here. All right. Now, basically you prime it by putting water in there. Then you plug it in. Then you hope and pray inside for the video that it starts. Because, you know, sometimes they don't start. I hear it. I hear it. It started. I just moved it to the slow setting. I'm sorry, the fast setting. Or the full setting. And so what happens is, I don't know if you can see right where my finger is, the lift tube, the U tube, an air bubble usually forms in the last elbow, and you kind of have to get that out for the flow to be as strong as possible. All right, shall we check the flow? Stand by for flow checking. All right, fishy folks, I'm basically holding the camera over the water surface. I am nervous as you know what, so I'm gonna do this quickly. This is me. This is the flow. It's like Niagara Falls now. Me, Niagara Falls. Me, Niagara Falls. All right, fishy folks, that does it. I'm done. I'm moving the camera so I don't drop it in the water because I'm a klutz. Let me know down in the comments below how you start your filter and how often you clean your filters. Hiya, fishy folks, and happy Thursday to you. Yeah, I was gonna say shelter in place, but the word that came to my mind wasn't shelter. So, yeah, guess what it was. All right, here we go, folks. Hi, Indy. It's Indy. Hiya, fishy folks, and welcome back to Michael's Fish Room. Today, shelter in place day, who knows? I've lost count because no more fingers. I don't know, 15 or 16 or something. So, yeah, you don't care. You're doing the same thing, I hope. Hiya, fishy folks, and welcome back to Michael's Fish Room. Today, shelter in place day, who cares? Hope everyone's doing well and nobody's having any issues out there, and if you are, hope they get better soon. Today's video, when do I need to change the filter in my hang-on back? So, I get a lot of questions from you guys, and a lot of them are good questions. Some of them are kind of dumb, but, you know, that's that. This one isn't a dumb one. It was, how often should I change my filter? I'm a complete newbie. The guy in the store said I should change it every month, and I should just buy a new one. And he sold me a pack of filters. And I think that's kind of wasting money. I agree. I think it is wasting money. You know, I've done a lot of do-it-yourself filters for all my hang-on backs, which currently all my hang-on backs are just the, I'm babbling, just completely, take 96. All right, fishy folks, we're back. Before I get started with today's video, if you could do me a favor and just click that subscribe button. That's click the subscribe button. That's Severe Flow Slowdown. I'm gonna show you a case of Severe Flow Showdown. I'm not that much of a nippity. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so in this particular filter, I only have sponge filters. There's 3 sponge filters. They are this size, and this is an old one. You might be saying to yourself, why do you have an old one? Well, I have extra. I bought 2 3-packs, like when they're on sale on Amazon, they're like $1.50 or something. And I use them for other things, so I just buy them. I think maybe in one of these filters, I don't know. I don't know why I have an extra one. That's dumb. So if this was your house, you wouldn't want it to overflow before you know, right? So let me see if I can pick the camera up and show you the flow. You can't really see. Okay. All right, fishy folks, here's how I clean a hang-on back filter in my fish room. I have a bucket of water. It's a 5-gallon bucket filled roughly halfway, maybe 40% with water, and it's not treated. I mean, it is treated water. I'm a dumbass. I should start again.